Okay. You want me to go? Ready? All right. Good evening, everyone, and I want to welcome you to the Oconee County Republican Party's Town Hall with my good friend, Chief of Police right here in Seneca, Casey Bowling. Okay.
Thank you,
and
sir.
Tonight's moderator is going to be Tom Russ, who's over there in the audience right now. But before we get started with tonight's festivities, what I'd like to do is we'd like to go to the creator and grand architect of the universe and give him all due. So, Kirk, will you lead us in the invocation tonight?
Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here tonight, we humbly seek your guidance and wisdom. Grant to us clarity of thought and understanding during this meeting. Please help us to make decisions that align with your will and for the betterment and positive outcomes in Oconee County. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Kenneth Eckerman, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you. I just got a couple of announcements before I turn it over to our guest speaker and our great host in the city of Seneca. Two very important announcements. Number one, on December 1st, the Greenville County GOP, the Spartanburg County GOP, and the Oconee County GOP would love to have you at our upstate Republican Christmas party. It's going to be in Greer, South Carolina. If you need more information, check the OCRP weekly updates or the Facebook page for more information. I believe tickets are $30. Is that right, Heidi? I think so, yes. So just check the website. Don't trust me. Go to that, get the information. But we'd love to have you. It's going to be a great evening. But more importantly, December 6th, the Oconee County Republican Party is proud to partner with Fostering Faithfully for a Santa ride from the great city of Seneca right here, because we're going to take right from the downtown area, and that's called the Norton Thompson Park?
Yes, Norton Thompson Park.
That's where all the Christmas lights are, and everybody has grand activities. We're going to line up. Well, registration is 11. We're going to line up at 11:30, and we're going to go noon to the city of Walhalla. The proceeds, part of the proceeds, benefit Fostering Faithfully, and we didn't know it until just now, but Chief Bowling was a foster parent himself for 12 years and raised, 20 kids? Is that right?
It's close to it.
Yeah, you see them on a regular basis. Well, congratulations, and thank you for that, Chief. That's
you.
a great service. Great opportunity. Entry fee is $20 per bike or $20 per Jeep. Decorate the Jeeps, and if you know anybody who can be Santa to ride the Jeep, please let us know. We are always actively looking for Santas out there. So, thank you very much, and thank you for your perspective. God bless Oconee County, and God bless America. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Chief Bowling. So, Chief, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity to come speak to you tonight. Mr. Sanders called a while ago and asked if I would come speak to you. I get asked to speak at a lot of places quite regularly, so this is nothing new, but I always enjoy speaking and getting truth out and being transparent with the police department, and then also finding new friends. A little bit about myself. I am working on my 27th year in law enforcement in Oconee County, which is a long time. So I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I am part of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. I'm a graduate of the South Carolina School of Law, Narcotics Command College, and I'm also a graduate of the FBI Command College as well. I've been chief of police in Seneca now, going on 6 years, I believe it is now, which I thoroughly enjoy. I enjoy creating leaders underneath me, which is my biggest goal, but also doing the right things and creating a great culture in the police department, but also within the city limits of Seneca. Little personal stuff about me. Been married to my wife, Brenda, who is a 5th grade school teacher. This is our 25th year. So June, we will celebrate 25 years of marriage. And I will tell you, the date is June 9th. How about that? I remember. How about it? So I'm very excited to celebrate that with her. We have one daughter, Annabelle. She is a junior at Anderson University, following in her mom's footsteps and studying elementary education with a focus special ed. So we're very proud of her, and she is doing great things, and I can't wait to see what God has in store for her in the future. But that is me in a nutshell. I really appreciate the support of our community, especially our residents. Some of you I have met out in our area. I've done some events with Sean over there, and it's really neat to see what our police department's been doing in the city of Seneca. I'm very proud of our officers. We have 45 employees at the police department, and we usually average about 4 officers on a shift at a time that are patrolling right now. So we're very proud of what they do. They do things the right way, and really are involved in our city, and really they're servants of our city. And they do a great job protecting, but they do an awesome job of serving in our city. So I'm very proud of them. Sir, it's on you.
Okay.
You gonna sing?
Thank you, Chief.
Do we have to sing the opening line to
Oh, okay.
do we need to sing the opening line of Andy Griffith?
Yes.
Start whistling? I would love it.
Appreciate it, Chief. Good to see you
Good
again.
to see you, sir.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
We see each other a lot at Christmas
We do.
parades and marathons and
That's right.
such. So, an honor to moderate this tonight. We had some listeners and some citizens write in questions ahead of time, so I'll just share a few of those with you tonight. Someone said the organized protests that seem to plague Seneca on weekends are primarily out-of-towners, but yet they can come in and disturb the town. Someone said they'd stop going downtown on the days the protest takes place. Just too much to mess around with. Anything we can do to stop this nuisance problem? That was the question. Maybe referring to the King's March or some of those things that took place.
We've had several protests in the city of Seneca in the past, I'd say, 5 years. We are a big proponents of anybody exercising their right, freedom of speech. The cool thing about our police department and people who exercise their rights, we communicate very well with them. If anybody wants to come down and exercise their right downtown, we are the biggest municipality in the county. So we do see a little bit more activity, and our downtown is booming, as we all know. So when we do have these protests, we've had a great relationship with the protest organizers of being able to give rules and regulations, boundaries, those type of things. So we will always allow anyone to come and exercise their freedom of speech rights. But we do really stress to people to communicate with us, work with us, not against us. And we have actually seen great results of that, to where the protest organizers have usually reach out to me weeks ahead of time, and we come up with a plan. And 99% of the time, that plan works perfectly. We've had, all the protests I've been involved in the city of Seneca over the past 5 years, we've had maybe 2 incidents. And one of the incidents got pretty heated. But the next day, the gentleman calls me and wants to meet with me and apologizes. And we had a great conversation about, what to do next time. And opening up that, just opening up that communication. But, that'll probably continue. But as long as we continue to work with the organizers and being on the same page, then, everything will work out peacefully. And we love that, as long as it's peacefully.
Thank you. Are you getting political pressure to deal with illegal immigrants and the homeless by not enforcing ordinance and codes?
So that's 2 questions there. Political pressure? No, sir. No. And I'll hit on that real quick on the political pressure part of it. I have a great working relationship with our city council and our mayor. Dan Alexander, our mayor, has been our mayor for a long, long time. We're about to have a change in leadership, but Mayor Pro Tem, who's about to be mayor in just a week or so, Ronnie O'Kelly, has been on council for close to 30 years with the mayor. They work really well with the police department. The neatest thing is they allow me to do my job, which I really, really like. But funding the police department, backing us, getting us the resources that we need, they have always been open to working with us, making sure that we have the right things. Getting political pressure about immigration, I've never gotten any political pressure about immigration at all. When immigration got to be a hot topic a year and a half ago, I think is about right, I made it a very big point in my life, personally and professionally, to go meet with the Hispanic community. So I met multiple times with the Hispanic community to explain what was going on with immigration with 287G, making sure that they understand what's happening, but they weren't jumping to conclusions, but they understood where law enforcement stance was. In working with the sheriff. The sheriff and I actually met with the Hispanic community a couple times together just to explain what's going on with 287G. And we had great success with that. We actually, the Seneca Police Department actually received an award from the Hispanic community for our work in the community and being transparent with the Hispanic community. So last year, about beginning of summer, they actually presented an award to us just to say thank you for being transparent, being open, and being willing to meet with them and talk to them and get through this together. I don't ever want to work against somebody. We want to work together because we all have a common goal. We want to live in a peaceful place and love our neighbors. So we want to work together in these situations. So that's the answer to the first part of that question. The second part of that question, which Barry's only given me 20 minutes.
No, go ahead.
All right. Good. Homelessness. So homelessness is a epidemic throughout our country right now for various reasons. I've done a lot of work with our homeless community to try to figure out what's going on, but then try to figure out how we can encourage and help people get back on their feet and be productive members of society, because that's what we all need to be. So there's 4 reasons why people are homeless that we have figured out. One is somebody's just down on their luck. Divorce, mother kicked them out, one of those things. Okay, down on your luck. Got laid off, but then lost your house. That all falls in that category. Next category is addiction, which is very prominent in this area. We're seeing alcoholism, drug addiction, wreaking havoc in people's lives. Okay. The third one is a way of life. Y'all would be amazed at some of the people that are homeless because they like to be homeless. That's the way that they like. Some people call them survivalists, or they're homeless. So that's part of it as well. So we see some of that here in Seneca, is the survivalist part of it. The fourth really is just a mental health. Mental health resources in South Carolina are horrible right now. Our legislature is working on increasing our mental health resources. They're right now building a new mental health facility in Easley, and we're extremely excited about that right now. Extremely excited. Bed space for mental health in South Carolina is very, very, very low. So we're seeing mental health as your fourth one. So that's your 4 major reasons somebody's homeless. Now, in the city of Seneca, in our jurisdiction, we have seen a huge drop-off in homelessness. Huge drop-off. This paper right here, and I'm not going to show you details on this paper because it has pertinent information. So our officers, about every couple of weeks, they go around, especially at night. One of the cool things that we use is we have a drone that has FLIR on it, heat-seeking capabilities. We will actually fly that drone at night to find homeless people and make sure they're okay, especially in the winter. In the winter, we'll fly it overpasses, fields, those type of things, just to make sure they're okay in the real cold. When it's 20 degrees for 4 or 5 days, we want to make sure that they're okay. But we also want to check people's properties to make sure that your property is clean. If you own property, you don't want tents on your property. We understand that. So what we do is we go around and check. Now, if somebody is walking down the street with a backpack on, usually they're not homeless. But we get phone calls all the time and people say, hey, that person's homeless walking down the street. No, they're not. They just don't have a car. And they might not look like you or I. They just might not be homeless. They have a place to stay. A lot of the people, I do a lot of work at the soup kitchen in Seneca, which feeds, roughly about 60 people a day. Out of those 60 people, there's only about 4 to 5 people there that are actually homeless. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of people think just because you go to a soup kitchen, you're homeless. That's not true. People go to a soup kitchen for several different reasons. We have one gentleman who is pretty well off and goes to the soup kitchen every day because it's a free meal. As a frugal person, I would be like, well, that's not a bad idea. But you think about it. The perception is all those people are homeless. Perception sometimes really gets us in a bind. When you see a tent in the woods, here's what I ask people. When people call me and say, hey, Chief, I saw this person standing on the corner. That's great. Do you know their name? Do you know who they are? Do you know why they're standing there? They're like, well, no. I said, well, why didn't you ask them? They're human. Go talk to them. Go see how they're doing. Introduce yourself. Find out their story. So we go around and check up on these people. Right now, this was just updated last week. As of last week, we had less than 10 people that are homeless in the city of Seneca. Truly homeless. People go in the soup kitchen, people standing in the corner. The people standing on the corners, holding a sign up, guess what they're doing? They're making a living. Mm-hmm. Because big-hearted Oconians, which we are very big-hearted, will give them a $5 bill. I'm telling you now, do not give somebody money. But if you want to help them out, there's other resources. Yes, sir, Barry.
Got a question from the live stream.
Yeah.
So are we saying that it's a panhandling issue or a homeless issue? Because they're saying yes with what you said with the 10 people.
Yes, it's a panhandling issue. So this is part of addiction.
Okay.
All right. So this all goes back to addiction. This goes back to alcoholism, and it goes back to drug addiction. Is where all this comes back to. If you give somebody $5 on the side of the street because they're standing at the end of Walmart, they're taking that $5 and getting their next high. They're getting their next drunk. That's what they're doing. They're not going and buying underwear, socks, food. You're fueling an addiction is what you're doing. So there are laws against panhandling. We actually have a ordinance in the city of Seneca for panhandling. You will not see people, let me take that back. You might see one every now and then, but the majority you'll see your panhandlers right outside the city limits. So our city limits actually stop. We do not have the shopping center where Staples is. We do not have Days Inn. We do not have Applewood. We do not have Walmart. We do not have the hospital. Any of that. That is not in the city limits of Seneca. We do have Bank of America, which is really weird. Just a little, it's like a little horseshoe right there. Okay. But I can
find
speak.
a lot of times people call and it's really not in the city limits where the people might be homeless and have
Correct.
a tent up.
Correct.
Home Depot or Lowe's or somewhere like that.
Right. But our officers have done a phenomenal job of keeping resources lists in their cars, making sure everybody has the resources that they need. So what happened, 4 years ago, I got really mad at government. Now I'm being very transparent here. That's what I do. I'm an open book. I got really mad at government because government, when I say government, I mean law enforcement, was pushing homeless people around. So, if I found somebody homeless in Seneca, I was taking them to Walhalla, dropping them off. Well, Walhalla would find that homeless person. They were taking them to Westminster, dropping them off. And then the county would get them. Guess where the county would take them? Georgia. And guess where Georgia would take them? To Oconee. We're just pushing people around everywhere. So I started, 4 years ago, I started the Reunite program. Our Reunite program has changed lives. So what the Reunite program does is if we find a homeless person, we interview them and talk to them, find out why are you homeless, why are you not getting back on your feet, and what do you need to do to get back on your feet, and where are you from? If you're from Asheville, Atlanta, wherever, do you want to go back home? Well, you're like, well, Casey, you're pushing homeless people around. You're right. But I take it a step further. I say, okay, you want to go back home. Who are you going to go home to? Your wife? Your mother that kicked you out? Your wife that kicked you out? Well, I want to go back to my family. I miss my kids. I miss my wife. That's great. You're like, okay, Casey, you're creating a problem again. No. We will call that wife. We will call that mom. We will call that sister, brother, and say, do you want Johnny back in your life? Is it okay if Johnny gets back in your life? And when they say okay, that's great. But we take it a little bit further. I said, that's great. We'll get them back to you. Where are they going to live? Are they going to live in your house? That's great. Where are they going to work? I want a job lined up, and I want a house, and then financially on their feet before we'll send them back. In the past 4 years, we have sent about 30 people and reunited them with their families. I have sent people, cool story, today, we've got one on a bus right now headed back to his mom in California. Today. Which is a cool story. And I can tell you that later, but it's a good story. We have sent back people to Florida, Massachusetts, Texas, Colorado, around here. If it's within an hour driving distance, our officers will just line all that up and we'll drive them to their house and drop them off to their family. Or we've taken people to airports, we've taken people to bus stations, and we make sure that they get on. We don't just drop them off and say, see ya. Like the one today. We had taken them to the Greyhound station in Greenville. Well, our officer waits, make sure they get on the bus. Because that's us doing our due diligence. But our Reunite program is awesome. And now you're thinking, okay, Casey, you're sending all these people on planes and buses and all that. That costs a lot of money, doesn't it? It does. Plane tickets are $300, $400. I have not used one single taxpayer dollar for that program. Back when I started this program, I spoke to a group of people and I had a gentleman speak up. Since that day, that gentleman has paid for every single trip. He does not ask questions. He does not ask anything. He just says, how much did it cost? In about 3 days, I'll receive a check and we'll put it back in our account with the city, and it pays for that whole program. I've never met the man in person. I've only talked to him on the phone. But we always receive that reimbursement, which is amazing. So we are changing lives instead of pushing people around, which is awesome. And I love it. As you can tell, I'm a little passionate about it because I love it. I think we are creating an avenue for people to be productive members of society. We are not enabling, and we are not creating a bad environment and just pushing it off to the side. We are figuring out how we can help this epidemic out. And that's what we're doing with our homeless. A lot of people, I hear quite a bit, we have 300-400 homeless around in Seneca. I hear it all the time. I'm like, where are you seeing that number? Where's that number coming from? Well, I see them, walking down the streets. It's just what we just talked about, Mr. Rose. Have you talked to that person? Are they homeless? Just because they don't look like you or I, and just because they're carrying a backpack, doesn't mean they're homeless. So, there you go.
Good
Answer
work.
number 2.
Thank you.
I get fired up about that one. Because I'm passionate about it.
Interesting question here. What is the protocol when someone is pulled over for a traffic stop when they only have an expired passport as identification and no driver's license or other form of ID? I guess they want to know, what does the officer do?
Yeah. So if you don't have a driver's license, passport is not a driver's license. Passport does not give you legal rights to drive anywhere. Passport will get you on a plane and on a cruise ship. That's about it. That is against the law. It's no South Carolina driver's license, no driver's license in possession. An officer has the discretion to write the ticket, take them to jail, whatever that be. That's an officer discretion thing, but that is a jailable offense in South Carolina with a fine and or time in jail. But if you don't have a driver's license, the only hiccup with driver's license is if you have an international driver's license. I was speaking to somebody earlier about this as well. If you have an international driver's license, you have 90 days from the time you establish residency to get your driver's license in that 90-day period. So we have to establish residency, 90-day period, you get that driver's license. South Carolina, there's about 12 to 19, about 19 countries that South Carolina has reciprocates their driver's license. You don't have to take the driver's test when you come to South Carolina, but you have to establish residency and have proof of residency to be able to get that driver's license. But there is a 90-day window for international driver's licenses. But if you do not have a driver's license on you, you do not have a driver's license period, that is a criminal offense.
Okay. Along that same line, is it legal for a driver to have a Seneca, South Carolina as their place of residence listed on their driver's license issued from Mexico?
You're talking about a Mexico driver's license with a South Carolina address on it?
I think that's what the question was. Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
Okay. That is not a South Carolina driver's license. All right. So that would be what I just talked about. You have that 90-day grace period to get that South Carolina license. That would fall under that 90-day grace period. After that 90-day grace period, you are deemed to not have a driver's license in the state of South Carolina. So you have that 90 days to establish your residency and get that driver's license.
So you must have a South Carolina address, understandably, to get that South Carolina license.
Yeah, I haven't seen one of those.
Yeah.
So that's a new one on me.
Someone too asked about the Mill Hill area. I know you get a lot of questions about that. You've seen a number of illegal immigrants in the Mill Hill area, and some are known to be active criminals. What's going on to rid Seneca of this crime element?
Sure.
Kind of back to the illegal immigrants again.
The Mill Hill area is not in the city limits of Seneca. So I'm not aware of that issue at all. Just because we don't patrol the Mill Hill area.
That'd be Goddard Street.
That would be the sheriff's office. That'd be Goddard Street, Jamerson Avenue, on down to Utica Church.
Okay.
But I'm not aware of that situation.
Okay. Right before the city council elections, it's writer wrote, there was a visible decrease in the number of homeless on the streets right after the election. There seems to be a return of the homeless. Was there an active effort to rid Seneca of the homeless problem to look good for the election? It's kind of a crazy question.
Easy answer to that is no. We have been working on that, like I've said, for the past 4 years. We have seen a decrease. There's several reasons behind that, and a lot of them are right here. 2 years ago, we started our trespass authorization program, our TEAP program. What that is you own a business inside the city limits of Seneca, you could be on the trespass program. Okay, that has really decreased so our homelessness inside the city limits of Seneca. We have to actually catch you on the property. All right, and then even if you get it on video, that's great, but we still have to identify that person and then go. We've had several instances where we got almost. That's great, but we have to ID that person, and then we will get a warrant when the judge issues one after the ID. But if you're on that property, what it does is it skips a couple of steps with our trespass laws to where the business owner gives us the right and the authorization to enforce the trespass laws on your property at that time. But we have had several instances where we have used video to ID somebody and be able to take care of it that way. We've had several here recently. But we have seen a decrease. A lot of it is our trespass program. A lot of it is our Reunite program. And a lot of it is our work at the soup kitchen, our work with other resources to inform vagrants of what you can and can't do. So it's just like talks like this. If I'm transparent with you and talk to you about the laws and what's going on, you're going to be more informed. Same thing with our Hispanic community, same thing with our vagrants and homeless community. If they're not informed, then we're not doing our job. So the more information we get to them of what you can and can't do, the better it is for you and I.
And one last question. This writer said they're curious, has there been a lessening of drug supply with the war on cartels?
So yeah, we are starting to see a little bit of a drop off of your big quantities. There's a difference. There's a difference of, big manufactured narcotics and then homegrown narcotics. Back when meth labs were real big, back in the 90s, the meth was a little bit of a different texture. And now it's, bigger shards, bigger pieces, look like glass or like rocks you would find in a cave, those type of things. We are starting to see a drop off on the big quantity of heroin, meth. It's still there, okay, but we're not seeing it as prevalent as we were, say, 2 years ago. Matter of fact, here in the upstate recently, a pretty big meth lab was actually busted. So, unfortunately, I think we might be headed back to the meth lab problem that we had, 6, 7, 8 years ago, which could be an issue. But we're hoping that it doesn't go that way. But we are starting to see a little bit of a decrease. Yeah.
This wasn't on the agenda, but I think you might mention, maybe in closing, Chief, you do a lot of community outreach, very proactive in your department and things you do in the community. You might just highlight some of those for us.
Absolutely. Reaching our community. We started out with reaching our young people in the community. That was my heart, Mr. Sanders. You know that now. My heart is with our young people because I really, truly believe in my heart that 12 to 18-year-old range is very crucial in our children's lives. And I say our children because they are our children. Just because they didn't come from me, they didn't, we're not related. It takes a village to raise a child. And I truly believe that law enforcement is a part of that village. So we really started reaching out to that younger age, started with popsicles. We would get a freezer or cooler full of popsicles and go into neighborhoods and go door to door handing out popsicles, and the kids loved it. Thought it was the greatest thing ever, and I loved it too, just because I love hanging out with them. Then we would take it to football practices and hand out popsicles at football practices in the summer when they're doing 2 days and getting hot and all that. We would take popsicles to them. We were seeing a huge increase in communication with our younger individuals and our police officers, to the point where they were running up to us, hugging us, calling us by name, our real name, not bad names, which is great. But we were seeing so many gaps being closed because of our community outreach with the young people. And we were doing a great job with our younger people. Then I got to thinking, and I challenged our command staff one day. It's like, we're missing something. We got a great relationship with the kids, but those mamas still don't like us. So what can we do? Well, that was the creation of our block parties. Has anybody ever been to one of our block parties? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, they're great.
All right, so then we started our block parties. It was this huge idea of we would shut down a road, shut down a neighborhood, we would feed the neighborhood, we would set up games for the kids, and then we would just have tables out, and everybody could eat together, like old times. I always remember my favorite movie in the world is Sandlot. And there's a scene in Sandlot where the kids go out at night on July 4th, and they're going to play baseball underneath the fireworks. Well, before they go to the field, they go out in the cul-de-sac, and there's tables and chairs, and the whole neighborhood is out there eating hot dogs and having a great time. This is what I envision in my head. This is what I want for our community. Well, then I got to think about it. I said, okay, guys, bring me a list of everything we need to start doing this. So they brought me the list. Now, they like to spend money. We know that. It was $18,000 for us to start this program. And I'm like, my budget's not that big. I can't find 18 grand to be able to shove in this program real quick. That was on a Thursday. On Tuesday of the next week, we had $21,000 already from private companies inside the city limits and our neighbors that heard about it. $21,000. We were able to buy all the materials to do this program and then also pay for like 2 or 3 of the first block parties, which was awesome. Now, we still, to this day, we have fed over 3,000 meals inside the city limits with our block parties. We've had them all over the place. We still have not used one single tax dollar for this program. Not a dime. We've had churches step up. Seneca Presbyterian visited my office 2 weeks ago and said, we want to sponsor one of your block parties. Hand us a check right then. Life Point Church in Bountyland has been an integral part of us being able to do our block parties. It's amazing. Sunset Finance on the bypass wrote us a massive check to buy almost all the equipment. Just because they have seen what we've done with the popsicles and they believe in what the City of Seneca Police Department is doing in the community. It's humbling. It warms my heart. But it also is a big task on us. Keep doing what we're doing. Yes.
Tom, can you ask the police chief about his experiences about being a foster family and some of the experiences in terms of stories and things like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
The question from the audience, Chief, was about being a foster parent, and I understand you've had several children, and how that worked out with your family.
Yeah, fostering was one of the biggest things that my family's ever been involved in. It was very rewarding but difficult at the same time. People who are foster parents are a godsend to our community. As a police officer, you go into these houses, these neighborhoods, and you see the kids that need help. Okay? But as a foster parent, you're able to help them. You're not just giving them a coat. You're not taking them to Walmart to buy them $20 worth of clothes. You're actually helping raise that child. Giving that child a safe spot, a warm plate, a warm bed to sleep in while their family figures some things out. We all go through rough patches in our life. We all have. I grew up, a little about myself. I grew up in a broken home. My parents divorced when I was 6 months old. I lived in 19 houses from the time I was born to the day I graduated high school. 19 different houses. I lived, everybody know the Executive Inn over here by the bowling alley? I lived in that place for my 7th grade year of middle school. The Walhalla Motel in West Union, I lived in that motel for a long time. So I understand some of this. And y'all know I get emotional about this because I think it's phenomenal what foster parents do. And for you all to partner with Fostering Faithfully warms my heart because I have personally seen what Fostering Faithfully does. Fostering Faithfully is a phenomenal organization that does the right thing with integrity and just humbleness. And they are loving on these families that are fostering is hard. Fostering is very hard. But it is so great for these kids. Just to be able to hold their hand, hold them, pray for them at night, love on them in their worst time of their life. When a child's going through the worst thing in their life and you're able to hold on them and love on them and give them a little bit of peace, that is awesome. But we've all been in those situations. You can't badmouth the parents and you can't say, oh, I can't believe they're doing this. We've all been in bad spots in our life. They're just going through a rough patch and you were there as a foster parent to be able to assist them and help them be better parents is all you're doing. So I'm grateful that my wife and I decided to be foster parents. Even our daughter has benefited from it. It is very, very hard, but it is a very rewarding, and you're doing God's work, is what you're doing. You're doing God's work. Yes.
Tom, could you ask the chief about parking in downtown Seneca after the amphitheater is built?
Okay. Parking downtown after our beautiful new amphitheater is built.
Where's that?
Yeah.
Parking?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Yeah.
Let me know where that parking is. I want to find it. So parking, I mean, the amphitheater's built. I do not know the future plans of parking with the amphitheater. I will tell you now. Seneca is the city of events. We have events all the time. We had this little event on Thursday nights. I think it's called Jazz on the Alley. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it.
It has exploded.
It has exploded, yes. But there's 1,500, 2,500 people on Thursday nights downtown. The police department does a great job of making sure everybody's safe. Jazz on the event itself is a very safe event. We've had great success with Jazz on the alley. Now, later on, after Jazz, when people have been drinking since 7 o'clock and it gets on to be midnight, yeah, it happens. That's part of life. But during the event, it's very, very great. Parking wise, we've done some things to allow more handicap parking. So we actually corner off some spots for handicap parking, but the rest of it's really park in a safe location wherever you can find a spot.
You do have Norton Thompson Park, which is a little bit of a walk, but not that far.
We do, yeah. Norton Thompson Park, it fills up pretty quick. But we allow people to park on Railroad Street at City Hall, down Townville Street, and there is parking. You might have to walk a little bit. When the Performing Arts Center is built at 708 seats, I think is what it is now. I don't know the future plan of what that parking is going to look like. That's all you had? All right.
I don't want to be greedy.
Listen, whenever I go speak to somebody, and people online as well, This is a time for you to ask the hard questions. You've got the person in front of you that has the answer to that hard question. So I don't mind answering the hard questions. It might not be what you want to hear, the answer that you thought might happen, but I will answer the hard questions. So please don't go home thinking I should have asked something.
Tom, can you ask the chief, what is the major type of crime in the city of Seneca, and what area is the most problematic in the city of Seneca?
A major crime in the city, the biggest crime,
Sure.
and what area maybe is that located in?
So I'm going to kind of shock you a little bit on this. I'm not going to shock you on the first part. The first part, domestic violence is our biggest problem, right? And that's in a lot of the areas of South Carolina. We do have a domestic violence problem in South Carolina, and we see that here in the city of Seneca. Police officers are more therapists than they are, enforcing laws. I feel like every police car should have a couch in it, so we can lay people down and work out their problems, which is great. That's what we're there for. That's part of us serving the community. So domestic violence is probably the most prominent thing. But I'm going to shock you on the second part. It's traffic. It's traffic. It's 123 corridor. We are seeing such a huge uptick. Our actual crime numbers are going down, but our traffic accidents and traffic violations are skyrocketing. And we all know why, right? Oconee County is growing like crazy, right? It's hard to drive that beautiful car you have down 123 now, isn't it? Not as easy as it used to be.
Especially at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
5 o'clock, that's right. So right now, our biggest problem right now with crime to say is traffic accidents. The new hands-free law is going to help us out. If you don't know what the new hands-free law is, you can't have a device in your hand at all or supported by your body. I was really bad about talking on my phone and then putting it on my thigh. That way I knew it was right here. I can get to it real quick. So I've actually, as the chief of police, I have caught myself several times grabbing my phone and be like, oh, hey, let me put this down. So I'm glad that there's a grace period until March. And there's several other people that I know of that are really close to me that really appreciate the grace period. So thank you to our legislature for making that grace period, because we are going to have some bumps in the road with that. But we are hopefully going to see some huge decrease in our traffic accidents. That is our biggest thing right now is our officers are so busy with working accidents and working hot spots with traffic, not just on 123, but you're looking at 59 going out of the city, Walnut Street going out to Friendship Road, extremely busy. We're seeing it in the growth of downtown. Well, the growth of downtown, things do go along with that. Traffic, parking, those type of things. So we are starting to see a huge increase. We have seen an increase in the past couple of years. We're hopefully here within the next 12 months, we're going to see the new reconfiguration of the East End intersection. We're hoping that helps out some of that, because that is a huge, we used to have, most of our traffic accidents used to be at Miracle Circle at 28, 123. But now the East End intersection is almost doubled what Miracle Circle used to do. So now you kind of know what those numbers are. But that is our biggest headache right now.
That domestic violence can be a pretty volatile situation for your officers. Many times they don't know what they're walking into, right?
Domestic violence situation is the most violent situation you can put a law enforcement officer in, just because there's so many unknowns. You don't know how heated the situation is. You're going into a house where there's a lot of tension. You don't know if there's weapons in the house. You don't know if somebody has grabbed a weapon. It's a very volatile situation that you're going in, and you're not going to make anybody happy. Because you got two parties mad at each other, and you're going in being the middle person. Well, guess who they're going to be mad at now? The middle guy, and that's us. So it's a very volatile situation. Our officers around the country, there's been a huge step up in training with de-escalation, and we did that worldwide just because of unrest, but it's actually helped us out with domestic violence with the de-escalation. So it's actually helped us out better in other situations as well. Yes.
I have a question. If an officer pulls somebody over and they determine that that person doesn't have a license, do you guys work in conjunction with ICE, federal agents, to get a detainer for that person and have that person picked up? And the second part of the question is, some states have issued illegal state licenses to illegals, California being one. Does South Carolina have that problem, or can an illegal get a South Carolina driver's license?
Great questions. It's a two-part question, so I'll go with the first one. So 287G, when 287G was enacted, which is a while ago, all it has done is it allowed facilities like our detention center two different things that they could do. They can place it. They can do the jail model, or you can do the warrant service model. The warrant service model is where you have jail facility personnel that can actually serve a detainer on an individual to hold them in that facility for ICE. Okay. Or you can have just the jail model, which is where you bring people to the jail for other criminal offenses, and then they just advise ICE that we have somebody there, and then they have to serve the detainer on them. I believe, the 48 hours that they have to serve that detainer and come get them. The problem with 287G and what you're talking about is a local law enforcement official does not have the right to go serve an ICE warrant with the 287G model. All right, that can happen inside the jail, but not out in public. So we are seeing that Sheriff Crenshaw has done a great job of communicating with our Hispanic community, and he has actually adopted the warrant service officer model inside our detention center in Oconee County, to where he has trained personnel that actually can serve that detainer on somebody inside the jail. That person actually has to be wanted by immigration. If you arrest somebody for a violation and you take them to our jail, the jail personnel are the ones that notify everybody of who's in jail. That is not something that police officer is doing from the time the traffic stop happens to get them to the jail. The jail personnel, since Sheriff Crenshaw has adopted the 287G, and they would handle all that. I think I answered your question. Thank you.
Got time for one more question.
Okay, I have a question that's completely different, and this may be a county question,
Sure.
But all of these animals cannot be surrendered, so people are forced to dump them. Are you aware of anything in the future that might be a solution, and what are the penalties if someone's caught dumping? But when they're told, let them go free, which is dumping them when people find a stray animal. I mean, is there anything that you're aware of that could improve that situation?
That's a great question, and I appreciate you thinking outside the box. I do appreciate that, because those are the type of questions I like. They test me and keep me on my toes. But I have been working with Sheriff Crenshaw about our animal control problem with the overcrowdedness, all that. We do have some ordinances inside the city. Our leash laws, all that is a little bit different than out in the county.
Backyard breeding, it's out of control.
So I know the sheriff is working with our Humane Society and our animal control officers to really figure out how we can make that a better situation. Him and I have talked several times about that. I do want you to know that there's nothing concrete solution to that, but I do want you to really understand that Sheriff Crenshaw is very passionate about making that better, and he is working actively. We just had a conversation just a week or two ago about this. He is working daily to try to figure out, and working with the Humane Society to try to figure out exactly how is the county and the city is going to move forward with our animal problem. It is a problem.
Because that the rescues are at capacity.
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Humane Society, the shelter, everybody is at capacity.
Yeah.
It's just, there's no end in sight.
A lot of people don't think about that when you think about police.
Sure.
You know, there's more hotter topics, I guess you
Yeah.
can say. But that is a problem that the sheriff is working every day on. We've had that conversation. He's doing a great job. Now, I know sometimes we just beat our head against the wall because we're like, what's the solution? But I do know that he's working with the Humane Society every day to try to figure out what's the best solution for that problem.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't thank our special star tonight,
You're welcome.
Chief Bowling, and let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
And a special round of applause for our great moderator, Tom Russ.
Glad to do it.
One clarification, the tickets are $20 for the Christmas party. We want to thank you for everyone who streamed and dropped in and saw tonight. Thank you all, and once again, thanks to our great chief, and thank you for
sir.
protecting our streets.
Thank you, sir.
God bless America. God bless Oconee County. Y'all have a great